The Philips Hue versus Govee videos have been some of our most watched videos in the past. Now, in the comments section, I've been accused of being a anti-Philips Hue person. I'm not Paul Hibbert. I have nothing against Philips Hue. Yeah, the products are a little bit more expensive, and certainly there are a lot of great alternatives, but I actually have Philips Hue throughout my house. Today, I'm at Vince's house, and he's got a ton of alternatives, and we're going to talk about those, where it might be appropriate to use Philips Hue, and where other products have actually caught up and are more affordable and achieve the same effect. Let's go. Tell us about your exterior lighting. What products you're using, what they do, how you're automating it.
So I have 3 different brands that I use between the, actually 4, between the outside and the front and the outside and the back. In the front, I have Ring has their own pathway lights, and it's a combination of solar ones and battery powered. And I have those scattered throughout the property. And those are just a straight white light. Those just get activated by motion. And then I have Govee permanent LED lights on the eaves of the house. And those I have set up on an automation with each of the seasons. So for example, right now it's St. Patrick's Day. So there's a St. Patrick's Day scene that Govee has created in their app. So I can basically just add them in. And I also have Govee spotlights that are on the ground out front as well. And again, those get turned on with a specific scene every day. Usually it's at sunset. And then they turn off around like 3 in the morning, and they're automatically do that. And then I also have Philips Hue lights outside that, again, Govee doesn't offer. Basically, the products I have, they don't cross over. So I have the Cala lights, basically just round cylinders with lights on the top from Philips Hue. I have the Lily spotlights that go with my water feature. And then I also have Philips Hue bulbs over the garage and then over the front entry door, which all turn on at the same time of day and then turn off at the same time of day. And I change the routines or the colors based on what the season is. I used to have, like during football season, on Sundays, I'd automatically have Vikings colors. But then Monday through Saturday, it was, Christmas or Valentine's Day or things like that. Even had stuff with, like your Ukraine colors or whatever it may be, whatever's kind of going on, you can just kind of change them. And I basically change the lighting to do that. And then in the back, I have, it's a company called Inner, so INNR, also some spotlights. They are compatible with Philips Hue, so they're Zigbee. So I was able to put them in the Zigbee system. They're a little cheaper alternative to the spotlights like Philips Hue. The only downside to those is there's 5 of them and they all have to be the same color. So you can't pick different colors for each one of them, but it's a good alternative. I think for the set of 5, it was under $175 or something versus 5 Lily lights for Philips Hue is well over $400 or $500. So it's just like a good alternative if you're trying to figure out what to do for the same effect but a little cheaper.
Oh, just anything that you think is worth talking about with Philips Hue and Philips Hue products.
Yeah, so the nice part about Philips Hue, just kind of in general, I mean, I like their sync box that gives like a nice lighting effect, colors. They have a lot of products that complement their system. So like, for example, I have a Hue gradient light strips that go on the top 3 corners or the top 3 sides of the TV. And then I also have 2 Philips Hue play bars that run the colors for underneath. I think even the new gradient light strips go all 4 sides now. These were a couple of years old. And then I also added in just some Philips Hue light strips, the ones that run along the back side of this cabinet and then up. And then I also have one that runs on this side, runs up. And all of those interact with the TV as the colors change on the TV, whether it's a movie or playing Xbox or gaming or things like that. Same thing with the lights on the bar areas, light strip above, light strip below, and both of those all interact with the Philips Hue. So you can add quite a bit of lighting to Philips Hue. It has a much more seamless and integrated system with their lights when you're creating entertainment areas versus like Govee's. It's a little more clumsy getting all of the lights to come together. Like this is a little more seamless. So they both have pluses and minuses, I guess, it just depends on what you're looking for.
How long have you been using Govee's TV immersion kit products?
So I think their first product came out, I want to say it was probably like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't even think the first version had a name, but I've probably been using them all for about 2.5, 3 years, and I have all three versions that are still working. In the kids' bedroom is the original TV light kit with the camera, and then they upgraded to a T1, which is an upgraded camera, and upgraded LED light strips, and then the T2, they updated the whole camera assembly entirely, so you don't actually stick it on there. It's just there's no double-sided tape. It's actually with a counterweight. It's pretty heavy duty, and they even added more LED lights on the strip. And then they added a second camera, 2 cameras, competitively priced compared to like something like a Philips Hue sync box. The T2, I think like on sale or whatever goes for like under $120. So compare that to a Philips Hue sync box, sync box is $250 by itself, and then you got to get a hub and the light strips and everything in between. You're over $500. So.
Have you noticed any issues with glare or the camera picking up things that it shouldn't?
Yeah, what I've noticed, it's a cheaper alternative to Philips Hue, where Philips Hue is going to be like, where you're getting like true Dolby Atmos and things like that. All the features with the Govee, if it is light in the room, it's going to pick that up with the camera sensor for the lighting. So it works really good when the lights are off and it's just picking up the TV sensor. But you notice if there's a light on, like for example, like I have this floor lamp on, it will pick up that lighting if that's on and watching TV.
In which areas would you use Philips Hue versus an alternative?
I mean, I use like Philips Hue works really nice in living room spaces just because of the sync box. Also with the new Samsung TVs that are just coming out this year, the sync box is actually built in as part of an app, which is also a huge improvement. And one of the reasons why I dislike Philips Hue sync box is because it's an actual physical box where you have to plug HDMI cords into it. With the new Samsung app, basically it's going to solve that problem. Whereas Govee is really nice because it's a cheap alternative. It just uses a camera to do color tones, but it just goes off whatever's on the screen. So it doesn't matter if I'm using a Fire Stick or an Apple TV or an Xbox, it's all going to shoot the same.
What advice do you have for people that are installing light strips?
Best advice is to buy ones that can either cut to size so they fit in the areas that you want them to go in. Govee, most of them are able to cut. You also have, Philips Hue are cuttable as well. You want ones where if you need to go around corners, you can add connectors and things like that. The connectors and stuff are really cheap and easy to do as well. Other than that, for light strips, I would just making sure that you have extra double-sided tape on hand. I buy mine off of Amazon. Anytime you're removing them, you can easily just put a new strip of like that double-sided tape on them. I have used Samsung SmartThings a lot. Unfortunately, like Govee is not compatible with Samsung SmartThings, so I can't use my scene controllers or switches for my Govee lights like I can use them with Philips Hue. So there are some compatibility things you have to think about as well.
What lighting do you have underneath the couch?
Yeah, so these are the Govee just light strips. I don't know what the exact model number of these ones are. I got them about a couple of years ago, but there's 2 sets. There's 2 16-foot strips that I basically line the entire couch with, but they're new enough where they're compatible again with the Dream View for the TV, so they interact with the TV lights as well. So, but those ones are Govee. I'm pretty sure I got them like on a Black Friday or like a Prime Day.
What advice do you have for people looking at purchasing smart bulbs?
It's really beneficial to look around. So I've like bought bulbs and strips off of Marketplace for over half, like 50% off. eBay. There's lots of places you can get these expensive bulbs without having to pay, $50 or $60 a bulb. I recently just bought like 6 Philips Hue VR30s, which is their big ones, which retail for $60, like at Home Depot. And I picked them up basically on eBay for a pack of 6 for $150. So you can usually get away with, even though they're expensive, getting away pretty cheap with some of the other bulbs, or like getting them from other places besides major retailers.
I saw out in your garage, you've got a whole box of light bulbs. Tell us about that.
So I am in the process of swapping out I have smart switches throughout the house, but I've just started adding in smart bulbs. Those are all Philips Hue bulbs. I currently have 2 rooms in my house that are all Philips Hue bulbs. And I'm trying to convert the other 2 or 3 rooms eventually. Adding the Zeus switches versus other ones in the past is Zeus switches are compatible with smart light bulbs. You know, if you've run into the issues, the reason I didn't like smart light bulbs in the past is because you turn the power off and the bulb doesn't work anymore. Whereas with these Zeus switches, you can turn the switches so they're constantly getting power, and then you're using the on and off buttons just like you would a normal light switch, but it's activating the smart bulbs on and off. And with the Zeus switches, you can do multiple scenes with one switch. So I think with the Zeus ones, you can push up to 6 times or down up to 6 times. So you could have a total of basically 12 different lighting scenes if you so choose. Double up press to turn on a specific color, or up 3 times for like a certain shade or a certain Kelvin. It just works good for a lot of customability. You don't have to use them all, but you can.
Tell me about the lights behind you.
These are Govee Hexa lights. So it's like the equivalent of Nanoleaf, the canvas or the triangles. Philips Hue actually doesn't have any product that matches these. And so I chose Govee mostly because of price. And the Nanoleafs tend to be a lot more expensive. Govee, basically they go on sale quite often. The nice part about these is you can connect and create lighting effects up to 20. Like Nanoleaf, for example, has a much more. So if you're looking for a product where you can connect a lot more lighting, like that's kind of the application for those. Like if you want to do a lot more versus what I have here. It uses, it's a Wi-Fi based. So it uses through the Govee app, and then it is compatible with Google Home, Amazon Echo devices, but it's not HomeKit compatible, and it's not SmartThings compatible currently. There's some other stuff that's coming out in the future. I think like the M1 strips from Govee are Matter compatible, so those will be able to use per HomeKit, but currently this is not available for that.
You previously mentioned that you had priced out what it would take to cover the whole wall.
I originally was looking at Nanoleaf canvas lights to basically cover this entire outer exterior wall, and it was somewhere in the ballpark of about $5,600 to be able to do that. So it can be quite expensive for just a lighting effect. So I kind of did this as a kind of an alternative where I've mixed in lighting panels and then also just decor wood hexagons as well to kind of create a cool look.
Now, how are you using these panels in your house?
So these ones are connected up to, it's called DreamView. So Govee came out with a new software program to compete with Philips Hue SyncBox in Essence, basically where you can connect multiple lights in an entertainment area. And so I can use these, or I use these to connect up with the TV lights. And when the TV's on, to basically kind of extend the colors throughout the room. I do that with the wall ones, and then I have over cabinet lights that are Govee as well. Use those for applications. I also use these lights for notification purposes because it's kind of the main feature of the room. So I'll use, like for the kids when they're getting on the bus, I will use these as like part of automations to turn specific colors. I will also use them for like our automatic pet door, whether that's turned off or on with colors. And so I do a lot of different stuff with this just because of the center piece of the room.
What light strip is right up here?
This is like basically my Govee floor or area. So all the lights in this room are Govee lights. The living room downstairs is all Philips Hue. So I'm just trying to create rooms with the same lighting products. So I'm going to add these M1 light strips to the above cabinets up there. And these are their newest version of the light strips. So they're compatible with the Dreamcast for the Govee T2 lights. So they'll work with the TV lights. So whatever's playing on the screen will also extend the color to these on the over cabinet lights. And eventually I plan on doing under cabinet lights as well, even though I already have normal under cabinet lights. But it just works really well. It creates nice, cool lighting effects, especially if you're entertaining, but even just having family night with the kids and watching movies and TV.
I think we can all agree that Philips Hue makes incredible products, and they are pricey, but if you can afford it, it's certainly worth it. You're going to get very good saturation, cool entertainment zones, It works well with other products to make really cool automations. And if you buy it when it's on sale, or if you get it on like eBay or Marketplace, like Vince is recommending, you can actually save a lot of money. So I really like Philips Hue for entertainment zones in my house. That's actually what I use. I've tested other products in the past. We actually started with LifeX, which connects via Wi-Fi. And while it is great color, we had all sorts of connectivity issues. And so for that reason, I actually replaced them. And I've tested a number of like Govee products over the years. I think they make really cool stuff, but there are limitations to those products. And so in some cases, it is worth paying that extra money for the Philips Hue products. One other shout out I'll give is Wise. They make very affordable products, and their bulb is actually one of the brightest bulbs that we tested, and I really like them. So if it's a kid's room and you're just doing a couple things, I think Wise is a great option. If you want to have a Philips Hue-like experience, I think Govee is really good. Nanoleaf is another really great option for doing like a wall, an accent wall, or doing like gaming type lighting. Really cool stuff there. And like Vince mentioned earlier, if you've got Philips Hue and you've got like a new Samsung Smart TV, using that app is a much better way of connecting it and syncing up the entertainment zone lighting versus having to rely on that sync box, which is more expensive and is kind of a pain to switch between the different HDMI sources. So if you use a system that's like camera-based, like Govee, you might get a little bit of glare or reflection that's not going to be quite as good as the Philips Hue. But for the money, it's a great option. And I think it's a really cool effect and something unique to showcase in your home. So I'm going to drop a link here to a previous video where we compared the Philips Hue Sync with the Govee. If you want to check that out, that'll give you another opinion. Colton shared his thoughts from testing as well. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Drop comments below. What do you like? What are you using in your home? And until next time, take care.